Hello, Charley Speaks family. We are continuing our session on providing for our children. And as I said to you in some sessions before, that I can provide a female perspective on these things. But I can never tell you the kinds of things that are in the hearts and minds of a male, as he is actually the head of household, providing for his family. Now, what I do have for you today is the very best that I can do. I have someone dear to me. I have my husband, who has spent several years providing for our family, and I don't think we could have had a better provider. So I've asked him if he will share with you today some of the things that come to his mind regarding providing for our family. Now, I've said to you before that we are complex human beings, and we are made up of body, mind, and spirit. Well, today he's going to talk to you from his perspective about providing for our family. And I've truly asked him to do something that I think would be very beneficial to you, and that is talk about provisions that have impact later. And what I mean there is that Jesus himself, who is our perfect example, he is providing for us right here on this earth now. But also, Jesus is providing for us for later, because he said that in my Father's house are many mansions, and he has gone to prepare one for us. So what about that? Have you thought about providing for the now and the later? So we're going to hear from Jerry today about providing for a family. So Jerry, what do you have to say to us?
Well, much like Paul is talking to the church at Corinth, as he's about to make the third visit, he's preparing in mind and also presentation as to how he wants to present himself. And he says, I'm coming at a third time, not for what you can provide for me, but I'm coming as one who is compassionate and caring for you. And he uses the metaphor of coming as a father, a spiritual father, a compassionate father, one who is concerned about the welfare of their family as a parent, and not the children concerned about the welfare of the parent. That doesn't mean that the children should abandon their parents, but it does mean that they're, in God's eyes, there's a way of doing things, and the parents have that responsibility. Given that responsibility, when he uses the word parent, he's talking about a mother and a father. And parents collectively have that responsibility. It's not a single focus evolution. There should be, in God's ordained family, parents, a mother and a father. The two should have a common goal as it relates to raising the children for the betterment and for the nurture of the children. Now, how do you do that? In order to do it and get the best results of a God-given example, you have to work on yourself as an individual. The husband has to make sure that they are grounded and founded in the Lord. The wife has to make sure that she's grounded and founded in the Lord. And then they collectively become the father and the mother, and as a result, they now have children. The focus has to be on the child, raising the child for the now, preparing for, providing for, nurturing for the now, as well as developing for the future. It's called growth and development. It's called providing for the needs today, but at the same time preparing one to be able to survive and be independent and structurally, soundly, godly based in the future for the rest of their life. In order to do that, Once the husband and the wife or the mother and the father are on the same page with the Lord, then they can go about doing it as God said. As you say, parents or fathers especially, do not provoke your children to anger. As it talks about in Ephesians, where it talks about the relationship as head of household, husbands and wives. That we go about and exercise our duties in a God-given fashion. And once you do that, you can get on with providing for your family. Now, providing. Providing is more than just providing things. We like to say, well, many times we say, well, I put a roof over your head, I put food on your table, put clothes on your back. That's great. That's the least expected thing of providing as parents, and certainly as a father. What you got to do beyond that is, within the outer shell, what are you developing on the inside in terms of integrity, in terms of honesty, in terms of hard work ethic, in terms of ambition, desire, learning, in terms of relationship, in terms of love, in terms of getting along with other people. So providing has a varied meanings, and it's the parent's responsibility to ensure that those things happen. Now, how do you do that? My thought has always been, you deal with the issue at the moment, but whatever your action is at the moment, it should be to satisfy whatever that need is, not desire, that need, and while at the same time taking care of the needs, you're also developing for the future. What I mean by that is you take care of the need by putting the clothing on the child's back or food on the table, but at the same time, what are you teaching fundamentally, principally about life? Okay, you take care of the need, okay, that's an expectation, but what principles are you establishing about honesty? What principles are you establishing about hard work? What principles are you establishing about getting involved? What principles are you establishing about getting your hand dirty, a clean, decent living? What principles are you developing in whatever actions you do? And I think that's what Paul had in mind when he was saying the duties of the parent is to support the child, to give them a foundation, to give them a baseline, to give them something that not only allows them to stand and survive for today, but also to position themselves and be prepared to live tomorrow. It's kind of like a retirement life. You spend the younger years of your life, certainly as a parent, working to find a job in many cases, and then you go and you look and you find a job, and then you spend some time developing and sharpening your skills to be as successful as you possibly can in that job. And then depending on how you invest your time, you look for growth and development, investment opportunities, and as they come, you still have another realm because life is built in stages where you move from first having a child, then raising a child, and then entering the workforce, and then moving toward what I call position yourself for the next phase of life, which is retirement. And if you have not invested anything and properly planned and goal-oriented yourself, you get to the end stage, well, the end stage is death, but you'll get to a stage in life called retirement where if you've not invested properly, there's nothing there to help you be able to sustain yourself. And then who knows, if that's the case and you got children, you got to be supported some kind of way. But that's not God's way of God's intention for our support. So, having said that, the metaphor that Paul uses, parents, it's your responsibility, it's our responsibility to provide, to support for our children. Not necessarily what they want, but in whatever we do, making sure that we're developing character and make sure that we're developing principles such that not only fulfill the needs for the moment, but provide for life in the future. Thank you.
Wow, that's powerful. That is wonderful. There is another aspect of providing that I would like you to share with them? Because I overheard you at least, sharing that with our sons at some point, and they thought it was very beneficial. And that is about things like making sure they have their house in order. Would you share a couple of thoughts?
Well, I think you talk. Well, when I had that responsibility with those I've had it with, I was basically coming from a house in order financial management standpoint, making sure that as you're starting out with the family, you're providing for your family, making sure that you provide the basics, places, food, shelter, clothing, and all those. But at the same time, things such as insurance, and making sure that you have insurance, and make sure that you have in place estate planning, will, and trust, and that kind of thing. Making sure that you got hospitalization, life insurance. I go as far as to say, given my stage of life, interment planning and that kind of thing. But just making sure that financially you're covering the bases, so that should something happen, and something will happen, it's not if something happened, but when something happened, you're better able to deal with those. And that comes basically through two elements that I treasure dearly. One is goal setting, and the other one is planning.
Okay. Is that it?
Well, that's from a financial standpoint. The only other aspect, having found recently very important, is also the element of health and well-being. Making sure that, as the scripture speaks of body, mind, and soul, making sure that as we take good care of our spiritualness, that we also take good care of our body. And oftentimes, if you're not careful, you can get tied up in taking care of others, meeting other needs, that you neglect yourself, and you're not involved in the wellness aspects of life, the health and wellness. And that too, the extent to which you take care of it, like the Fram oil commercials say, you either pay me now or pay me later. So it's best to, as best you can, spend some time all throughout your life, from your young life, taking good care of your physical body, as well as your spiritual and mental body as well.
You know, that's a very, very wonderful thought, because as we are providing for our children, we're providing for them in body. We do think about the physical things that we put on their body, and we do lots of times think about the food that they put in their body. But we need to incorporate exercise into that plan, right? Because children normally love exercise. They love to move. But I think as parents sometimes we can make the mistake of having them sit so much. So what we're doing is we're training them to sit. Then one day when they get older, we want to make them get up and go move. But we have to ask ourselves, how did you train them the past 10 years? You trained them to go somewhere and sit. Now they have gone somewhere and sat. Now you're saying you want them to get up and go move. Well, incorporate your exercise plan early. Go to the gym, take them with you. Let them go play. They want to play. Let them go outside and play. It's good for them. God bless.